Good evening, everyone. It's nice to have you. So, how did you find this meditation? Was it relaxing? Was it enjoyable? Was it challenging, tough, difficult? Somewhere in between? Yes, that makes it tough. Yes. So when you have a bit of physical pain, say you're a beginner with the practice, then if you're in pain or something like this, I'd rather recommend you to take it easy and maybe don't do the meditation that moment. Take some rest, take a nap, take it easy. If you're a bit more trained on the path, you could make use of this situation. You could discover in what ways you might be making it worse. And then you could perhaps learn how not to do that. Or, even better, how to make it easier on yourself. You may have noticed that when you're in pain, like maybe your body hurts from sitting or something like this, you're not used to sit still for a longer time, then you may notice that there's a specific talk arising as well, an inner talk with yourself about the pain. It may be something like, oh God, when does he stop? How much longer am I supposed to see? I hate this. Oh God, my knee is killing me. Oh, should I move? I guess I just move. Okay, I just move. Oh, why can't I just sit like all the others? They seem so quiet. What's wrong with me? Etc., etc. Something like that, right? Maybe it looks very dark, oh, I'm good for nothing, even meditation I can't do, Maybe you feel sad about it. Maybe angry, maybe you get really angry. It could also be angry at the room, angry at the teacher, angry at yourself, angry at your knees, start to curse, I'd invite you to just notice that. We're not coming here as a judge. You don't want to be here as a judge. It's like, don't you be naughty like that, Don't you have those curse words? Don't you think those nasty thoughts? Don't complain. We're not saying that. Rather, I'd suggest you to just become sensitive to what you are doing. Without adding another layer of judgment on top of it. But simply know it. All right, when I'm in pain, then I tend to talk to myself like this. And then ask yourself, well, what's the result of that type of self-talk? Does it make the pain more bearable? Does it make it less bearable? What if I were to change it a little bit? Perhaps make it slightly more encouraging? Would that perhaps have an effect on the pain? Would it ease it a little bit? Like if you have a good friend and you're in a painful situation, that good friend talks with you in a nice way, makes it a bit easier, gives you hope, gives you courage, a feeling of, yes, you can actually do this. You can actually get through this quite relaxed. Do you believe in your capacity to face pain with a still, calm, relaxed, peaceful, kind, compassionate mind? Do you trust that this capacity is hidden within you and that you could unleash it and kind of make use of this? That's where a different approach would begin, right? We can see, how am I treating myself? How do I deal with myself in the face of difficulty and hardship? And the more skilled you get at this observation, the more you will notice that actually quite a large percentage of suffering that we experience is your reaction to sensations. It's not the sensations themselves that make your life hard. Those are just sensations. They're just literally energy in motion. That's all that there is, right? It's not, my knee is killing me, quote unquote, but there is aliveness that moves and is stuck at a bunch of places maybe. But the whole story, my knee is killing me, that's the suffering on top of it, which is unnecessary. That's the unnecessary part. There's a necessary part that the knee feels a bit unpleasant, but it's very minor compared to the drama that unfolds within the mental and emotional body at that moment. And so the question that we can ask ourselves is, well, how does this drama come into existence? How does suffering actually come into existence on top of sensation? And you can find that out if you observe with sincerity, with a love for truth. You don't want to be deceiving yourself and create more stories, different stories, visualizations, etc., etc. You want to simply see what it exactly is that you are doing and what the result of your actions is. That's the attitude that is helpful in meditation practice, skillful. So rather than just going into your usual, habitual, impulsive response to what's going on in your life, analyze that response. Look at it carefully in terms of its cause and its result. And when you look carefully, you're going to understand and learn a whole lot of useful things about yourself. And one of the most useful things you could be learning about yourself is how you produce suffering within your own mind and your own emotions, and how you could stop doing that. And that's quite a powerful learning. In fact, this would be a type of learning that we all want. Maybe you feel like, I want to eat some chocolate. What you really want is to end the suffering of wanting chocolate. Because it's so unpleasant to want chocolate. Sounds weird, doesn't it? The chocolate is delicious. Everyone loves chocolate. Yes, but the wanting of chocolate is very painful. I don't need to prove that to you, right? You know that. Just if you really want chocolate and you wouldn't get it, let's say the shops are closed or something like that, and you can't get it, it's horrible. If you really, really want chocolate, I mean, let's not say it's chocolate, let's say it's a drug. Then it becomes really obvious. So you have a headache and you need a painkiller. If you need the painkiller and it's not possible to get one, it's unbearable. It makes it so much more unbearable. I remember when I was a little boy, actually, one summer, I had a complete meltdown. It was very hot and I had migraines when I was younger, lots of migraines, frequently. And there was this kind of onset of a migraine, and I had it in my mind that going to the pool, we had a public pool in the village where I lived. It was like a public bath, and we would go there sometimes. And I had it in my mind that that would be exactly what I need to cool myself down and alleviate the headaches. And my grandparents wanted to go with me at that time, and so they were taking their time. And I was there in the garden, in the heat, just wanting to go to the pool. And my grandparents had just sat there, and were just having a conversation, just talking about stuff. And they said, yeah, we will go. There's no rush. But for me, there was a massive rush. And it was so bad, the pain got so bad with each passing minute, that I went into this meltdown, and I yelled and screamed, and I fell onto the floor, and I was just having like a huge tantrum. Because I wanted them to finally just get up and bring me to the pool where I had it in my mind, there I could get some relief. What they did instead, they gave me a painkiller and told me to go to sleep. And that really helped. But that's an example of being totally helpless, just lost in our emotions and just acting through this emotional body without actually knowing at all what's going on, to what am I doing right in this moment. So unnecessary. Makes it so much worse. So having that knowledge, knowing yourself, and how you create unnecessary suffering for yourself, is a gem. It fulfills all of your wishes. To come back to the wishes, it is the wishes that are unpleasant, and it's the fulfillment of those wishes which alleviates the unpleasantness of wanting. Like in our societies, what we learn is the opposite. The more you want, the better, kind of. Wanting is very much encouraged in our society, isn't it? You're supposed to want a lot. Buy this, buy that, Go there, do this, look like that, eat this, be flexible like that. And then Instagram and Facebook and everywhere's full of adverts. And not only just adverts of companies, but adverts of each and every individual posting themselves, advertising for themselves. This is me. I am worthy of your attention, begging for attention. Look at me. I'm worthy of your attention. I'm worthy of your time. Click like. Notice me. Right? So there's a whole lot of things in this world that want your attention. A whole lot of wishes, people desiring to be seen, to be acknowledged, to be appreciated, liked, loved. And that all pulls on your mind constantly. And then there's your own wishes on top of that, pulling you around as well. So we're constantly pulled in all directions. The mind is pulled all the time. That's, by the way, one of the reasons why it's so good to go on retreat. Because on retreat we reduce the pull. So the mind can actually have a greater chance to come to a real solid rest. That is very difficult in our day-to-day life with all the hustle and bustle of the everyday grind, right? That makes it really difficult. So it's clever to sometimes go into solitude and to go into retreat and to really reduce the influx of demand on your mind. A lot of people think they're immune to it. You're not immune at all. You're being pulled in all directions all the time. This is why, by the way, a lot of adults nowadays also are very tired and depressed and can't sleep, and just constant pull. And then you have pull from the inside too, because all the information that comes in pulls on your mind's attention as well. Your thoughts want your attention also. Your emotions want your attention also. And how do we feed this process? We feed it by engaging in it. And what is it that makes us engage with it? It's wanting. Wanting to engage with it. And why would we want to engage with a mess and a chaos like that? Because we feel that it will give us something that we're looking for. Happiness and ease and finally a type of satisfaction. Otherwise we wouldn't engage with it. If we wouldn't have a hope that it would give us something we're looking for. But we do have that hope. It's like if I make that post, if I become successful, if people notice me, if I get that beach body, whatever it is that you want, it is pulling you into that direction, and you would engage with it because you're hoping that this is it. This is getting you the happiness that you're after. But in fact, it's not. It's stalling it. It's keeping you from that happiness. Hope and fear, they're the same thing, by the way. Keep you from happiness. As long as you're walking around in life hoping to get somewhere, hoping to become someone, you're missing the point. The point is, you are already here. You don't need to get anywhere because you're already here, but you're missing it. You don't even notice it, right? You don't see it. How many times do you actually wake up to the fact it's like, whoa, I'm here? It seems so insignificant because everything we usually do in our mechanical everyday life mind is based on, like it's life is almost like a means to an end. Everything's a means to an end. The relationship is a means to an end. The job is a means to an end. Even the meditation is a means to an end. Like if I meditate more, then fill in the blank. If my posture is better, then. If I could concentrate harder, then. And so we just are constantly in this chasing mode, wanting. And that is, in fact, if you really contemplate it, it's unbearable. But it doesn't look like unbearable, it doesn't feel like unbearable. It feels like fun, opportunity, choice, party, you know. It feels like you can do so many things, you can become so many things. It's amazing. It's like, wow. And you don't even notice how that pulls you away from happiness. That very thought, that very reaching for something other than what is dissatisfaction itself. What else would it be? As long as you follow and feed and nourish dissatisfaction, it doesn't go away. How could it? So when we understand that our normal everyday life activities are actually feeding dissatisfaction, when you really understand that, you may begin to appreciate meditation practice. Because it's that one time when you're not doing that. It's a really special time every day when you stop feeding dissatisfaction and you instead learn to enter satisfaction. It's enough. It's okay. I'm here now. Enough. You stop. Meditation, in fact, is the only time when you actually stop. That's not entirely correct, actually. Deep sleep, too. Deep sleep is you stop. You see the restoration that you get from deep sleep. It's miraculous. It's healing. Same goes for meditation. It energizes you. So you can then wake up and immediately chase more things. Imagine if you were tapping into that source of energy more. What would really happen is you would want to chase less and less Not like, wow, I would be super energized, I could become a super chaser, and I could get many more things if I would only meditate more. No, that's wrong. I must admit, it would sell really well, but I'm not here to sell this, okay? I'm not here to sell you an idea that sounds nice. I'm interested in what is true. And what is true is, as long as you feel like you're not here yet and you need to get somewhere and you need to become someone and you're driven constantly, and that's even seen as a good quality. Oh, he's so driven. You're constantly driven. Never arriving. You're unsatisfied, really. That's another word for it. Oh, he's so unsatisfied is the same as saying he's so driven. He's so unhappy. He can't even enjoy himself. He constantly drives somewhere else, drives away from himself, tries to get somewhere else, escapes, runs. But where to? Well, hopefully some happiness, right? But yes, as I said before, happiness is not a matter of hope or fear. Happiness is a matter of stopping. Stop. That's the cool thing about meditation. When you get your head around this initial kind of bit of a contradictory idea to our current lifestyle, where chasing is the non plus ultra, the mode of living, do you contemplate, like, how about if I were to stop a little bit more, and if I were to arrive a little bit more and explore what that's like to not chase the next moment, the next thing, and instead, if I were to let go into this moment, and I were to let go of that tension that pulls me forward all the time, that wanting, that desire, if I were to drop that, what would happen? And it's going to surprise you. But the opposite of what you would expect happens. You get happy. You're happy. Happiness arises. Not as an idea in your mind, but physically. Your body is refreshed, recharged. It feels amazing. The more you let go, the less you want, the better you feel. It's incredible. It's counterintuitive, though. The Buddha himself, he said that his teachings go against the world, 100% against the grain. They're not in alignment with the world. So we can't measure it in these kind of terms. It's like, wow, what could I get out of this? Well, actually nothing. You don't really get anything out of it. And that feels weird. I want to get something out of it. But the wanting is the problem. You're poor because of your wanting. As soon as the wanting stops, you're rich. That is a state of satisfaction. Every single time when you're happy in your life, it is due to the absence of wanting, not the other way around. It's not like, because I don't want anything right now, I'm happy. That's true too. Like, I'm happy because I have this thing now. No. You're happy because you're not wanting it anymore. That's correct. The wanting was the thing that made you unhappy. Do you see now how we connect things to happiness? How that works? And how it's not true, actually? How the more things you want, the more unhappy you are by definition, because of the wanting. That keeps you poor. So in meditation, when you are experiencing pain and you are able to receive it without wanting anything from it, you don't want it to go away, you don't want to control it, you simply see it and open up to it. It will reveal its secrets to you. And because you're not trying to be in control over it, it opens up and it shows you clear as day what it needs and where you need to release it. And you release, you let it go, you open up, you let go of your fear of it. It may as well vanish completely. And you realize, wow, my knee wasn't hurting because my knee is bad. It was my mind in the knee that was holding the knee, trying to protect it. That was the pain. And once I let go of that, the knee feels awesome. I haven't changed my body. I changed my mind. That's very common for people who are a bit more, to come back to the beginning where I said, if you're a beginner, take a rest, take it easy. If you're a bit more advanced, you can play with that. Investigate it. Approach it with curiosity. Learn from it. See where it takes you. How much can you relax? Tonight you'll be in your bed, perhaps with a headache, right? And maybe you take a painkiller, maybe not, but you'll be in your bed and you'll feel it. See if you can relax around it, through it. If you can find some space around it. If something in your head can go, and if that's nicer, and then follow that road, make it nicer and nicer and nicer and nicer. Helps with healing the headache. All right? So that was just a little ramble on pain and wanting and just more of a general thought. Do you have any questions?